Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 8 of NFL Game Picks. And yes, Halloween is this weekend. And so we decided to dress up our show a little bit. We got myself with a bunch of our game picks down the toilet. We got Eddie down there in the bottom right corner wearing his best Tua Tagovailoa attire, some Hawaiian stuff. We got Chris wearing a Michael Myers mask, which when he takes it off, he looks even worse. And then Bryce, he's wearing his coronavirus safety mask. So let's go over our records for this past week, week 7. And I'll start it off with going. I went 10-4 last week, which puts me at 68-37. Yes, I'm in last, but it's not by very much. You'll see now with everyone else's records.
Yeah, so I also went 10-4 last week. It puts me at 69-36 on the year. I believe that's last I checked, it was second place. I don't know if that's still there or not. But my Titans lost, so that definitely hurt me. Had they won, would have been solid. So hopefully this week I can go undefeated and put myself back up at the top.
Yeah, I went 8-6. We're all tied at 69-36 on the year, so hopefully I have a better week this week.
Yeah, I went 10-4 this week. It wasn't a bad week at all. And has me at 69-36, first place on the season. Tied, I mean.
Yeah, so we're all very close. We're all within one game, as you guys can see by the records. So that was good. I was in first place heading into Sunday night's game, and then just did not end well for me. But besides that, what are you guys' thoughts on this past week of football? I know me and Eddie were watching a bunch of teams that weren't the Dolphins because they were on by. What were your guys' thoughts?
You can make a case that the Cowboys are arguably one of the worst teams in the NFL. I know Andy Dalton was knocked out of the game, but even with him in, they looked like they had zero chance to beat the Washington football team, as I predicted. I think the Steelers and the Bucs are the two best teams in the league now. The Steelers beat the Titans, who were arguably the best team in the league, and their defense looked really good. But Big Ben has to play better if they want to win a Super Bowl, and Tampa Bay is – they're just the best team in the NFL right now. The Seahawks showed that they look sus, and Russell Wilson didn't play his best game, and the Cardinals look like they could be a wild card team this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Pittsburgh is definitely one of the better teams this year. Russ did look kind of shaky. I was pretty surprised to see him throw 3 interceptions. But yeah, also Bears look pretty terrible. Tampa's D is pretty dominant right now, so we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from the week is that the Steelers are legit. I mean, that was a great game they played against the Titans. They choked kind of late. And Baker Mayfield had a great ending to that game, a great final drive there. And Atlanta can't win a game when they're up in the fourth quarter.
I personally was kind of upset with Nick Foles' performances on Monday Night Football against the Rams. When he plays against Tom Brady, he's like that swole SpongeBob, And then when he plays everyone else, he's just normal SpongeBob. So, yeah, that's my definitely Week 7 takeaways. And but now we're going to go into Week 8. And, yes, brought to you by NFL Game Picker. Check out NFLGamePicker.com where you can do your game picks like how we do each and every week. And with all that being said, let's dive into Week 8's games. So to start off the week, Thursday Night Football, we have an interesting game. Not really. I don't know. We have the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers, and honestly, I'm not too big on the Falcons, but I'm kind of leaning towards them. I'll give you guys my pick later, but I want Bryson to let me know what is interesting about this game.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this game is this is two of the worst rushing defenses in the league. They give up some of the most fantasy points to running backs. So if you have Mike Davis or Todd Gurley play them this game, the Panthers need to win this game just because it would keep them in the NFC South conversation. And as far as making the wild card, Atlanta's 1-6. I don't think this is a must-win game for them. I think they realize their season's in the tank. So I think this is a big game for the Panthers against a bad team. because this is a game that they are supposed to win. The Falcons have a good offense and show that they can hang around, but that defense just keeps choking games away. So I'm going to roll with the Panthers at home. I think they should win pretty big. And I think they possibly could get CMC back either this week or next week, so that would definitely help.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is supposed to come back for this game, but we'll see. I'm rolling with the Panthers as well. This definitely, I think, is a must-win for them. They definitely should win because that Atlanta defense is awful. But, yeah, I'm going with the Panthers in this game.
I'm going to take an upset. I'm going to take Atlanta. They played good for about, I'd say, the majority of the game. The last 2 minutes, they fall apart. Carolina getting McCaffrey back is huge, but I don't know why. I have a gut feeling that Atlanta's going to pull this out, especially on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Eddie, but at the same time, I just have to go with the Panthers. Like Bryce said, this is a must-win game for them. And if they can't beat on this Atlanta team, which by no means is a horrible team, they just have horrible luck with finishing out games. But honestly, I'd rather take this Panthers team over the Falcons team. And now let's move on to the first game of Sunday. We have the Indianapolis Colts at the Detroit Lions. Detroit was a team who played Atlanta last week, and they stunned them with literally a game-ending touchdown. Obviously, they had to score the extra point to win them over the game by 1 point. And the Colts, the Colts are an interesting team. They have one of the best defenses, but they also have Phillip Rivers, who's throwing turnovers each and every game like it's nobody's business. But I am taking the Colts on this one. I believe they have just a slightly better team than the Lions, and we'll see. But it could go with the Lions either way, but I'm going with the Colts on this one. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions at home. I know the Colts are coming off a bye week, but the Lions, they hung around against Atlanta. They were lucky to beat them. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like the Lions are going to pull off an upset this week. I don't think the Colts have anybody who can guard Kenny Galladay, who showed in the Atlanta game. He is an absolute top 5 receiver in this league if he just had a little bit better quarterback. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Lions at home in a close game, very close game.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Colts. They're coming off a bye. The Lions barely beat a terrible Atlanta team by 1 point. So, yeah, I think the Colts win this one, and I really don't think it's even going to be that close.
It's all good. I'm going with the Lions. That's all I have to say.
So we'll go to the next game, and we have the Los Angeles Rams at the Miami Dolphins. And the Rams just got a big win against the Bears last Monday, holding them to just 10 points. That Rams defense was all over the place, just shutting down Nick Foles. And Tua Tagovailoa will be making his first start for the Miami Dolphins. And it's going to be interesting. He's pretty much being thrown into a pack of wolves and seeing if he could survive. But this is pretty biased to me, but I'm picking the Dolphins. But I have it as a close game. I have it at 24-20. The Dolphins coming out on top with 24. Let's go to Eddie. What do you think, Eddie?
So I got the Dolphins winning 24-17. I mean, it's the start of an era. We haven't had an excitement about a quarterback in a long, long, long time. That Rams front four looks absolutely vicious, though. Would not want to be to it. I want to see him get hit once just to pop up because I'm a little scared about his health, how fragile he is. But I'll be there Sunday, and let's go Dolphins.
I take the Rams on the road here. I just think that front four, mainly Aaron Donald, is just going to be too much for this Dolphins O-line. I think Tua has a good game. I got the score being Rams 28, Dolphins 20. I think he'll put up some points. But I don't think that the Dolphins defense will be able to stop the Rams rushing attack. And I just don't think that the Dolphins offense will be good enough to outscore the Rams this week. So I got the Rams 28-20.
So I'm taking the Rams 23-17.
Next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns just lost Odell Beckham. He didn't even get any receptions last week. Baker Mayfield threw an interception, and then Odell was trying to go after it, and then tore his ACL, unfortunately. And then the Raiders just lost to the Buccaneers, but can't fault them. That's a really good team they ran into. But their record's at 3-3, and the Browns are at 5-2. And we're doing scores on this one, and I have the Vegas Raiders losing to the Cleveland Browns, and I have the score 24-28, and it should be an interesting game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this is a really good game, but I think there is something about Odell Beckham being out as to why Baker Mayfield played so well last Sunday, maybe because he felt like he didn't have to force feed the ball towards Odell's way and Jarvis's way. Jarvis now number one. He's going to get his targets and obviously get a lot of the attention. You saw Donovan Peoples-Jones and Rashad Higgins step up. So I'm looking for the Browns to continue their success. I think they'll win this game. I got the Browns winning in a close game, 31-28. I think the Raiders will put up points. But at the end of the day, I think that Myles Garrett will have a couple clutch plays there at the end of the game, getting some pressure on Carr, and the Browns will hold on to win.
I'm actually going to take the Raiders in this one over the Browns. OBJ being out definitely hurts that Cleveland offense. Raiders have lost the last 3 out of 4, but I definitely think they're better than the record shows. I mean, they played some hard teams like the Pats, Buffalo, and the Saints lately. So I'm taking the Raiders over the Browns in this one. A little bit of an upset. And I'm taking it 34-27.
I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going to take them 31-24. I think it's going to be a close game. I agree 100%. I think Baker plays better without Odell. Doesn't have to force him the ball. The offense just looked better. Baker started off rough that game, but got it together. I like the Raiders, but I just think the Browns are hot right now and they're rolling. So I'm going to go Cleveland.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Now we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers, and week 1, Minnesota just got obliterated by Aaron Rodgers. And this time they're playing in Green Bay. So I expect the Packers to keep it rolling and drop the Vikings to 1-6, and the Packers going obviously to 6-1. It's just one of those years. I mean, the only bad game that Aaron Rodgers has had is against Tampa Bay, and the rest he's been doing really good. He had an amazing week against the Texans last week. Him and Devontae Adams were just tearing up that Texans defense. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this game.
Yeah, so the Vikings just traded away pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue to the Ravens. I think Danielle Hunter's out for the season. So Aaron Rodgers will have all day to throw. And I think he'll have an MVP caliber game Sunday, probably 3 or 4 passing touchdowns, maybe a rushing touchdown mixed in there. I just think the Packers are too good. Aaron Rodgers is too good. I think the Packers will win pretty big. So, yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers at home. Green Bay killed them in the last matchup. Plus, Aaron Rodgers and Adams had a field day against the Texans last week. So they're rolling and feeling good. And Green Bay is 8-0 in their last 8 home games. So I think they make it 9-0 over Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Packers they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Minnesota looks like they're waving the white flag on the season. I'm going to take Green Bay.
Yeah. Next we have is the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills, and Patriots are not looking so good right now. They're 2-4, and the Bills are 5-2, and Bills are leading the division right now. Dolphins are the closest team competing with them. Obviously, they have more wins than the Patriots, and the Jets are just the Jets. But I'm going with the Bills here, and I'm gonna have them by a score. I'm going to have them by a touchdown win, and it's going to be 14-21. And it's going to be a good defensive battle, but I just don't think the Patriots can score touchdowns passing as much. They only have 3 passing touchdowns this season. So that's it's a fun fact for you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills at home. I just think they're so much better than the Patriots. Although the Bills' defense has not looked good the last 2 games, the Patriots' offense has looked equally as bad. Cam Newton looked terrible on Sunday, and he just absolutely has nobody to throw to, nobody who can get separation. So I'm going to take the Bills 35-17. I think this Patriots defense is not playing as good as they were, and I think Josh Allen finally gets going. He hasn't been playing like himself ever since he had that highlight play against the Raiders where he also hurt his shoulder. So I think now maybe he'll be healthy enough, and I'm expecting a big game. possibly to make a case for MVP from him this week.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Bills as well. I have them at 34-21 over the Pats. The Patriots haven't looked very good lately. Neither has Cam Newton, so I think Buffalo wins this one and extends their lead in that conference and really separates themselves.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo too. I mean, Cam Newton was terrible last week. Buffalo has a pretty good defense. And the Bills look legit, I think. And, yeah, New England has nobody to throw the ball to. So I'm going to take Buffalo 24-16.
Yeah, if you look at the Bills' losses this season, they lost to the two teams that were playing in the AFC Championship. They lost to the Titans and the Chiefs. So, I mean, it's not to discredit them that much because those are two really good teams, and they're playing very well again this season. So, I mean, both of those other teams have one loss. So, definitely, I have to give them credit where credit is due. Next we have is the New York Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll make this one really fast. I think we're all going to go with the Chiefs. Yeah, consensus, yeah.
Jets suck so bad. They're arguably the worst team in the league. Somehow hung with the Bills. Chiefs by 50.
Yeah, I think everybody's going with the Chiefs. Little fact, this is the 8th largest point spread in history, and it's the Chiefs' biggest point spread that ever been favored by in history. So, yeah, they're going to kill the Jets.
What's the point spread on this one?
It was 21. I think it's dropped to like 19.5 now.
Yeah, as it gets closer to the games, it'll go down a little bit more and more.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think they would cover with Chad Henne as quarterback. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Oh, man. And this next game is very, very, very interesting. We have the 6-0 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens are coming off a bye this week. They just signed Des Bryant to their practice squad. And the Steelers held off Bryson's Tennessee Titans by this much. A Gutowski field goal is what really sealed the game for them. Missed field goal, by the way. And this one's really tough for me to pick. I really want to go with the Steelers just because I feel overall they're a better team defensively and offensively to the Ravens. Very good rushing style offense, and they have a good defense, obviously. And they just traded for Yannick Ngakoue. So everything is kind of like really hard for me. But I'm going to go with the Steelers, and I'm going to have it at 21-24. It's going to be a very close defensive type of game. What about you guys?
Yeah, after watching that game Sunday, the Steelers definitely have the best defense in the AFC. They were able to neutralize Derrick Henry for the most part, and they were able to keep Ryan Tannehill from making those big splash plays that he's used to making in games for at least the first half. But I'm going with the Ravens here, 20-17. I just think adding Ngakoue is going to make that defense more nasty and that pass rush better. And then hopefully their run defense will be better. But I just feel like the Steelers, after coming off such a big win on the road last week, playing another big game against the top team on the road again this week, I think that they'll fall back. I think Big Ben last week showed his true colors. So if he plays this week like he did last week, at least in the first half, I don't expect the Steelers to win this game.
I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one, actually. I have them winning 34-31. Pittsburgh's averaging the most points right now in the NFL, and they have the second best rush defense. Baltimore is the best rushing team so far, so it's definitely going to be a really fun matchup, but I think Pittsburgh wins late over the Ravens.
I'm going to take the Ravens on this one. I like what I saw from Pittsburgh. Their defense is great. I think their offense is amazing too. But I have a gut feeling that the Ravens are going to win at home. It's one of those rivalry games. I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm going to take them 24-21.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this one should be very interesting. And like what Bryce was saying, he was showing his true colors. Like the second half, he was throwing picks and just not making the right decisions that were kind of used to Big Ben making. That leads the Steelers to big wins. But he definitely allowed Tennessee to get back in that game last week with some of those errant throws. But some of those balls were tipped up in the air. So, I mean, kudos to the Tennessee defense. And speaking of Tennessee, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm going Cincinnati plain. I mean, no, I'm kidding. I'm going Tennessee Titans, plain and simple. They're just obviously a better team than the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bounce back week. I will say, though, our pass rush has been non-existent. Jadeveon Clowney, no sacks. Harold Landry, maybe one. Vic Beasley, 0 sacks. So, we're not going to get any pressure on Joe Burrow. He's going to have all day to throw. So, I mean, he's going to put up yards against this atrocious defense that is absolutely terrible. And I think they're like almost 60% conversion rate on third down. Basically 6 out of 10 times you're going to convert on third down against this terrible defense. I do think the Titans win. But, gosh, this defense has got to play better, though, man. It's terrible. No pass rush at all. I think us four might have a better chance of getting a sack than Jadeveon Clowney or Vic Beasley right now.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. They're just a better team. Cincinnati's almost dead last in rush against the rush this year. And so I'm expecting Derrick Henry to have at least 100 yards. So Tennessee's going to win this, I think.
Yeah, I got Tennessee. I think it's going to be a huge bounce-back game for them. They're going to get everything rolling again. I like what I saw out of Cincinnati against Cleveland. Cleveland they pulled it out last week. But, yeah, I think Tennessee should bounce back pretty easy on this one.
Yeah. Not really much else to say about that game. Next we have is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Denver Broncos. And this one. Both teams are 2-4. Both teams are probably not having the seasons they probably expected to have in the beginning of the year. And it's quite unfortunate. But both two young quarterbacks, Drew Lock in his second year, Herbert obviously rookie. And I don't know. I've really liked how Herbert's been playing lately. And what I've seen out of Denver, obviously they played the Chiefs last week, so they got steamrolled by them. And I'm just going to go with the Chargers. I have a better feeling about the Chargers on this one. What about you, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm going to say the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert has a big week. Denver's defense has been injured. They've been hurt all year long. I'm going to say the Chargers. They're better than their record states, but it should be a close game. But I think the Chargers pull it out.
You Dolphins fans might not want to hear this, but Justin Herbert is the best player out of the 2020 draft class. You can make an argument for Chase Young being up there. I think he's right now at number 2. But Justin Herbert is by far the best player. He's been playing lights out ever since he came in. And say what you want to, but I think the Chargers team doctor may have known more about Herbert than the coaching staff did as far as the whole Tyrod Taylor incident. But, yeah, I'm taking the Chargers on the road. Justin Herbert's been playing lights out again. I don't think they'll get Austin Eckler back this week. But Drew Lock did not look great last week against the Chiefs defense. He might not be 100%. But, yeah, I'm taking the Chargers on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Chargers. Herbert looks pretty good. He threw 3 touchdowns last week, and Drew Lock threw 2 interceptions. So I think Chargers end up winning this one.
And to reply of Bryson's shots towards the Dolphins fans, Tua hasn't played yet, so we'll see what happens this Sunday. If he has a great game against the Rams, I think he owes an apology. But next game we have is the New Orleans Saints at the Chicago Bears, and the Bears did not look good against the Rams this past Sunday. And the Saints didn't even punt last week. Thomas Morstead had 0 punts. That's how – I mean, they weren't scoring every single drive, but they were kicking field goals, scoring touchdowns, so nothing bad there. And I'm picking them to beat the Bears this week. I just have a little bit more faith in the Saints than the Bears at the moment with Nick Foles at the helm. Let's go to Chris. He's nodding his head right now.
I'm rolling with my boys. I'm taking the Bears, of course. Nick Foles had an off week. I'm not giving up hope on him, though, like everybody else seems to be. The offensive line is awful. It's probably the worst offensive line in the league right now. So he's not getting any time to throw the ball, so I don't really blame the guy. Our run game's non-existent. We're the worst rushing team in the league. But with that being said, we have a top 3 defense right now in the league, so I'm rolling with the boys. Nick Foles gets it done. Bear down.
I just have a question. Have you seen the Jets or Bengals O-line this year? I think the Bears are definitely slightly better. As far as the game goes, I think the Bears are finally starting to show their true colors, that they're not a 5-1 team. I got the Saints winning on the road here after that Monday night performance. I just don't think that the Bears' success is sustainable throughout the season. I just feel like they're a lot better. There's more better teams than them in the NFC. So I got the Saints winning.
Yeah, I got the Saints winning pretty easy too. I don't think Chicago's offense is going to do much against New Orleans. I think they got to go back to Mitchell Trubisky, but that's just what I think. But I don't know. I'm gonna take the Saints. It should be a pretty easy game for them.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with you, Eddie. But like what Chris said about the offensive line, like Nick Foles even told Bob Greasy in their pregame meetings and stuff like that, that he knows when some plays are being called that he doesn't have enough time to throw the ball to where it needs to go and stuff like that. So he was pretty much throwing the play calling and the offensive line under the bus there. So let's see how they handle that. Next game we have is the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks, and this matchup should be good. The 49ers are 4-3, and Seattle is 5-1. They finally lost last week to the Cardinals, and man, that game was crazy. I'm happy I got filled into that Sunday night game because it was very interesting to see, and I was just coming back from the trip that me and Chris went on. But I'm going Seattle. Seattle is my pick for this week. I just have a little bit more faith in them than the 49ers. But the 49ers do have a better defense, and that's going to be the deciding factor of this game, whether San Francisco's defense can play better than Seattle's offense.
Yes, this is my upset of the week. I'm going with the 49ers over the Seahawks. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was ready to discard the 49ers and throw away Jimmy G. And ever since then, they've been proving me wrong every week. So I think that the Cardinals or the Seahawks' true colors are showing right now. Their defense is not good. And it's all dependent on Russ. If Russ has a bad game, they lose. If Russ plays like an MVP, they win. So I think this 49ers defense, even with all the injuries, is going to be creative in getting to Russell Wilson. So I think that they'll pull out the upset on the road.
Yeah, so this is a pretty interesting game. 49ers are sitting in last place right now in the division at 4-3. That division's tough, so they definitely need to win this game, in my opinion. They just put the beat down on the Patriots last week, so they're looking pretty good, honestly, with all the injuries. With that being said, though, I'm rolling with Russ. He's still my MVP. He had one bad week, and I think he bounces back, and the Seahawks get a win here.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks bounce back here. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be a really close game, but Russ doesn't usually have a lot of off weeks. It was a really good game. This is by far the best division in football. I think every team in this division will make the playoffs. But, yeah, I'm going to roll with Seattle here.
Yeah, I saw some talk about it on ESPN this morning about how this is the best division in football and how, like how you just said, how they each have a possible chance of making the playoffs, which will be crazy. And going from the best division in football right now in the moment to the worst, we have the Dallas Cowboys the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles, Sunday Night Football. And, man, the NFC East is not looking so good. But I do have to go with the Eagles. I think they're going to be better than the Cowboys because I don't even think – they don't have Dak Prescott. I think Andy Dalton's still in the concussion protocol. So they're going to go with their third-string quarterback, and it's just not looking good with them. So I'm going with the Eagles on this one. What about you guys?
Cowboys now get the Jets treatment from me. They're not even worth my breath. So Eagles by 50. Cowboys they suck. They're that terrible, and especially with a third-string quarterback with a name like Da Vinci or something. I don't know. I mean, it's terrible. So Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Eagles. The Dallas has started Ben DiNucci. Never heard of him. Their defense sucks. Eagles are bad too, honestly, but I guess somebody has to win. Can I predict a tie? I don't know. I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, somebody has to win. I think the Eagles are going to win. I mean, Dallas is already starting to turn on Mike McCarthy. It's going to get ugly there real quick. So I'm going to take Philly.
Yeah. It's horrible scheduling. I think they're gonna flex that game out, to be honest. But next and finally, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New York Giants. And last year, this was where Daniel Jones pretty much had his coming out party against the Buccaneers. But this time, they got Tom Brady, not I don't believe this week, but next week, Antonio Brown is able to play for the Buccaneers. That being said, I think the Buccaneers win this game. They've been proving that they are a very good team and have not only playoff potential, but possibly Super Bowl potential team type of caliber. And I think they're going to keep it rolling, and they're going to cruise over this New York Giants team. What do you guys think?
One interesting takeaway from this game is AB's not playing. Chris Godwin broke his finger. I know Mike Evans has kind of been banged up also, so we could see a scenario where Scotty Miller is the number one option along with Gronk. I think that's interesting for the Giants, but I still think that the Bucs win. The Giants are just not that good, and especially after Daniel Jones falling on the 10-yard line, that just kind of sums up the Giants season. I mean, I don't know how that happened. I guess a grass monster ate him or something. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks too. This is a pretty terrible Monday night game, in my opinion. Hopefully it gets flexed out, but I'm taking the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucs too. I mean, the Giants, they don't look good at all. Tampa Bay's rolling. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Yeah, unfortunately, they can't flex out the Monday night game since it's scheduled on a different day. But going back to the Sunday night game, they could flex that one out because that's what they did last week. They had Tampa Bay at the Raiders for Sunday night, and then they switched it to Seattle at Arizona. So any thoughts that you guys want to add on in this last couple of minutes that we have left for Week 8 they probably didn't get off?
Yeah, I think that it'll be interesting seeing these good teams play against bad teams. Sometimes they play down to those bad teams and upsets happen. So I think teams need to go out there like the Titans and the Bucs, win the games you're supposed to win. These are games that you are supposed to win because you are the best team. So I just want to see how these good teams go out there and play like they're supposed to and dominate.
Yeah, bear down. Fun little fact, Sean Payton used to play quarterback for the Bears. Maybe we should sign him after this week.
My real takeaway is just Tua gets his first win. Go Dolphins.
Yes, indeed. Go Dolphins. And those are our picks for this week. And the teams on by are the Washington football team, Arizona Cardinals, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Houston Texans. And this is our Week 8 NFL game picks. Hope you guys enjoyed, and happy Halloween. Do it safely. All right. Later, guys.